Hello, grade 4 students. Mr. Waterman here with today's mathematics lesson. It is Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. I hope everyone is doing safe and well today. Let's get ready for period 4 math. So last week, we didn't have a lot of time together. We just had one day. And I was only able to do this with class 4-1, or to start this with class 4-1. So we are going into mixed numbers and decimals. And even with class 4-1 last week, we didn't have a lot of time to take notes. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue with the notes that I started with 4-1. This will be new for classes 4-2 and 4-3. So just follow along. I will go through everything very slowly and carefully for you. Okay? And I know you don't have your notebooks, so don't worry about writing anything in them until we get back. Or if you would like to take your own notes now at home and follow along, that's perfectly fine. So in my math notebook, I am in the table of contents on page 1. I have written out mixed numbers and decimals as the lesson we are going to do, and that's going to be in page 7 of my math notebook. Okay, so I'm just going to go directly there now. Okay. And I'm going to read an example for you before I get into the notes. So, as always, we start with our objective, which is at the top of the page. And our objective, it says to read, write, and model amounts greater than 1. Okay, so let's look at the example where it says learn about it. Melanie and Elena like to jog every day at their local park. There are 2 paths. Elena's favorite is the blue path. Melanie's favorite is the red path. The red path is 2 8/10 kilometers long. Okay? So as you can see there, red path and blue path. Now, it says here are different ways to show 2 8/10. I'll move that away. And I'm going to bring my notebook back. Okay? So we're looking at 2 8/10. So these are the models that I started last week with class 4-1. Okay? And I have 3 set up here, 3 models. And I have 2 models that are completely shaded. And the last model, only 8/10 of the model have been shaded. So we have a few different forms we can express this as. Standard form, this would be 2.8. And so since we are dealing with decimals right now, we focus on that decimal point. As a mixed number, we would write this as 2 8/10. Okay? Then we can write it in word form. As I write it in word form, I would write 2, TWO, and AND, 8, EIGHT, tenths, TENTHS. This is where we left off. So to continue, I have 2 more forms I can show you this as. One this is what it would look like on a place value chart. Okay, then if I do that, I have my ones place. Draw those lines down like that. I'll just draw this out right now so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll draw it out slowly so you all can get the big picture here. Okay, so I have my ones place. So I would write a 2 here. Then my decimal point goes here. And then this is my tenths. Tenths. My tenths place. And that is where I write my 8. Okay? And the last form we can look at is called expanded form. EXPANDED. And for expanded form, we would write it out like this. 2 plus 0.8. Okay, so those are the different forms we're looking at here. I'll put an equal sign here as well. Okay, so now, just as we did and I have showed you ways to express 2 and 8 tenths. So you remember back from our story here, that the blue path is 2.45 kilometers long. Okay? So, here are different ways to show 2 and 45 hundredths. Okay? Now bear with me here. The reason I'm not using a ruler is because it's a little bit awkward for me by the way that my tablet is set up here. I'm going to do my best here, but if it's not perfect, this is why. Okay? So I have my models. 3, 4. I don't want to do these too quickly. And if you are following along, and if you have your ruler, fantastic. If you don't have a ruler beside you, don't worry about it. Because right now, we are just doing the best that we can. And then I'm going to draw 9 lines inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I'm going to erase part of that off because I don't need it to be that big. And I'll finish that here. Then I'm going to do it the other way. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so when I do it that way, it should give me a total of 100 in blocks of 10 and 10. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. So now I need to do 2 more of these. Okay. Now, if these are not the same size, do not worry about it. Okay. So draw it across again. I'll make this one a little bit smaller because I still have 1 more to go. So you'll see that Mr. Waterman's will be different sizes, but I also don't want to make them too close to each other either. Okay. All right. Then I do my 9 lines again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. This is fun. It takes a long time, right, when you use a ruler. See, I didn't use a ruler up here because we didn't have a lot of time last week. Now I have plenty of time because I'm making a video. Okay. So then for the last one, we're going to do it again. I'm going to try to make this one a tiny bit smaller. There we go. And I'm going to go all the way to the end here. All the way to the end. Okay. And then that part. Okay. So now I'm going to do 9 again. Okay. So you guys can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then, once more. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now I like to do things with colors to show the differences, right? Now, I should have used red up here last week, but a lot of students told me they don't like red because it's too strong a color. So I use green in place. I'm going to use blue for this one. So remember, the blue path is 2.45 kilometers long. So I'm going to color 2 models blue. All the way. 2 whole models need to be blue. Now this is the easy part to do because you can do them rather quickly, and you can see the reason why I'm coloring the way that I am is because I want to make sure that all the boxes are colored, okay? And any of you have heard me say before, I don't like angry coloring. This is why I'm taking my time. And as you can see, it's completely shaded. So then I do that again for the second one. Just make sure you go all the way down. Okay. So Tokyo Korean School, the students have taught me over the years that many students don't like to use the color red because they said it's an angry color. It's a very strong color indeed. So oftentimes when I do things in notes for visuals, I like to sub out the color red for another color. And that makes the students happy. Okay. And this one is now completely colored. Now, when you get to the last one, so remember, 2.45 kilometers. So what I need to do now is I need to color 4 rows, 4 columns, right? So I usually color across because I know where to stop. So I color these 4 rows completely. There we go. And now, when I get to the last one, I'm only going to color 5/10 of it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's where I stop. Okay, so that's my model. So now, what I'm going to do again is walk you through all the ones that I did before. So, standard form is 2.45. Okay? My mixed number is 2 and 45 over 100. Okay? Then I have my word form. That gives me 2, TWO, and AND, 40, FORTY, 5, FIVE, hundredths, HUNDREDTHS. Okay? So then, I have my place value chart. Like I had before. And I have my ones. Let me draw that down like I did before. Draw that down. And this one is going to be a little bit longer because now I need the tenths and I need the hundredths. Okay. And I'm going to put my decimal point in here. Make it nice and big for you to see. Let's finish that all the way across. There we go. So now we have 2 in our ones column, our decimal point, and then we have 4 in our tenths column, and 5 in our hundredths column. 2.45. Okay? And finally, I'm just going to do this one over here so I don't have to go to the next page. I know many of you are taking notes and concentrating. Expanded form. That's going to give me 2 plus 0.4 plus 0.05. So that's 2 ones plus 4 tenths plus 5 hundredths. And there you have it. Okay? Now don't worry, I have scanned the textbook as well, and it will show you the exact same thing that I did here. Okay? So now what I want to show you to do, I'm going to show you a few examples from your practice book, exercises, and your homework. Both of these I have scanned. Okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to look at the practice book first. Okay? So, the directions. It says, write a mixed number and a decimal to describe the shaded part. Then it says, write each mixed number as a decimal. Write each decimal in words. Down here you have a word problem. And then you need to write 3.602 in expanded form. Okay? I'll do a few examples up here. So let's look at number 1. So the model, I have 2 whole models shaded. And in the last model, I have only 1 full color block column, gives you 10, and then there's 8 here, so that's 18. So that is going to give me 2 and 18 hundredths as a fraction, a mixed number. And then as a decimal, it's going to be 2.18. Okay? Now, if we look at the mixed number as a decimal, this is going to give us 3 1/10, which will give us 3.1. Now, if we write each decimal in words, the first one says 0.743 This is going to be 7, S-E-V-E-N, 100, H-U-N-D-R-E-D, 43 thousandths, T-H-O-U-S-A-N-D-T-H-S. Okay? Now, if we look at a few examples from your homework book, and these pages are scanned, don't worry. So for homework, it says to write each as a decimal for the first three, and it shows you a little reminder in the box here where it says 4 and 5 tenths. The mixed number shows 4 and 5 tenths. 4 and 5 tenths equals 4.5. Then for the next part, it says write each as a decimal in standard form. Okay. The third part says write each decimal in words and expanded form. And then you have a word problem down here. Please remember to show your work. Okay? So let's look at a few. Number 1, 5 and 9 tenths. That's going to give us 5.9. Now, let's look at an example from here. Write each decimal in standard form. Number 4, 7 and 44 thousandths. Well, I know my 7, my decimal point, and now 44 thousandths. I'm going to put a 0 here. I would go in the tenths place, a 4 here in the hundredths place, and a 4 in the thousandths place. 7.044. For the last example, it says write each decimal in words and expanded form. So I'll do it in words first. This is 0.645. That gives us 645 thousandths. Okay. Now, when we write it in expanded form, this is going to be 0.6 tenths plus 0.04 hundredths plus 0.005 thousandths. Okay? And you guys should be all set with that. Now, I'm going to keep that here. Keep these here, just in case you needed more time to sort of look at what I was doing. Okay, move that out a bit. So you have a page from the practice book, and you have a page from the homework book. So please remember to bring all of these back with you when you come to school, because you are going to need to glue the practice page. You're going to glue it inside of your notebook like we do every week. Glue it and fold it over, okay? So bring everything back with you. If you have any questions, please email Mr. Waterman or email Miss Harris. We will be more than happy to help you. Take care. Stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye bye now.